Hey there, how's it going? I'm Edwin, and welcome to your 12th Pebble development tutorial. In the last sort of part tutorial, I just explained to you a bunch of stuff related to JavaScript, and I sort of explained how it all works and why you might want to use it. So if you haven't seen that, then you should go back and check it out. If you've chosen to skip it for whatever reason, then you're good to go. So just in this tutorial, we'll be sending app messages to the phone, so to the JavaScript, and we'll be sending app messages back to the Pebble. We'll be handling these messages, and we'll also be using a couple other small functions on the JavaScript side so that you can do whatever you'd like with that. Alright, so let's jump into it. So if you're on a desktop like I am and not Cloud Pebble, so like Linux or Mac OS X, you're going to want to go into your project folder. So my project is called Hello World. And go to your appinfo.json. So in the first tutorial, we've looked over this a little. We haven't sort of touched on it very much throughout the tutorials. I will be creating a tutorial on this eventually. Basically in this, if you want a settings screen, then you're just going to add this. I have it ready so I don't type it all out. Capabilities and configurable. So this just allows the app to know, hey, we want a settings screen. Can you put the settings button there for us? So that's all you're going to have to add. It's pretty easy to type out. You can pause the video and type it out if you want. Alright, so, and then what you're going to want to do is go into your source folder, not your worker source if you have a worker source, and you're going to want to go into, or you're going to want to create a new folder called JS. And then inside of the JS folder, you're going to have to put a file there. So we'll just put a simple file here, rename it. You have to call it pebble.jsapp.js. Rename it to JavaScript. That's the extension. And we're just going to throw in our Sublime Text session here. So here we are, delete this. And that should be all good. I'll just make sure the syntax is all good. So here, yes, so JS is the folder name, and you just have to create this pebble.jsapp.js, and the phone will, it'll be installed on the phone when you install the app yourself. So here we have this all set up. We're going to want to create, we're going to want to have some functions to send messages to and from the watch. So in our main function, or in our init function, alright, we're going to have a few functions here so that we can communicate with the JavaScript. So I've just included the pebble.h file here in Sublime Text so that I have those functions sort of auto-completed. It's just a little easier. So we're going to have app message register inbox received. So this is gonna you're gonna be able to take in messages. So we're just gonna call this inbox, and you don't need any other parameters. And then there's app message open, and this takes two parameters, the in and out size. So usually I just either do 512 and 512, but I recommend you should do app message size. Yeah, app message inbox size maximum and app message outbox size maximum. This will follow the Pebble sort of standard. You'll want to do this because maybe you won't have 512 available every time. So I just recommend you call these functions. So there we go, we've got those two functions down. In the description of this video, I will include a link to a paste bin where you can find these two functions that I'm about to paste in. So what I'm going to paste in are the two processing functions. So I've actually taken these from Chris Lewis's tutorial in case you hadn't heard the last tutorial. Basically, this is just a really awesome way of processing incoming messages from JavaScript. I've been using it ever since I started creating Pebble apps with internet functionality or JavaScript functionality. So yeah, basically all this does, just to quickly go over it again, inbox takes in the tuples, processes it through this, which takes the key, the value, and you can handle it from there. So we're just going to delete this extra stuff, which you're not going to have in the paste bin, but I'm going to delete it here. And there we go, that's set up. So basically, this is all you need to take in messages, and then you can handle it from here with the switch. So now in our JavaScript that we have set up, we're going to have a few handlers. So pebble.add event listener. We're going to have a listener for ready, and the function. The function E is going to be this. So when it's ready, we're just going to say, we're going to log to the console. We're going to say, this is JavaScript speaking. Alright, so now that'll fire off. We can just take this. We can also add one for app message. Alright, and we're also going to have one for show configuration. So on this function call, we're going to call pebble.open URL, and we're just going to open example.com. Alright, easy enough. I believe that's the syntax. So anyway, that should be all good to go in theory. Here on our ready statement, we're just going to send Pebble a simple app message. Pebble.send app message, and in this we're going to include something called hello, and we're going to just send a value of 1, and that's it. So one more thing is that you can see here I've typed a string. Well, you might be thinking, why am I putting this string here? And we haven't defined this before. How is Pebble going to know it's hello? And the key is only an integer on the Pebble side. We're going to go back to our appinfo.json. If you're on Cloud Pebble, this is the settings page still, I believe, for your project. So here, you go to your appinfo.json, and here in app keys, you can see this. So every string is a key for the JavaScript to recognize, so that you don't have to type a number assigned for it. So it's just really handy to identify all the keys without having just integers. I'm pretty sure you can just replace it with an integer, but this is what you should do. So we're going to make this key hello, so that's key 0, and we'll make one more key for test post, and that's it. Pardon me. And so here we are. Let's just bump the version label for fun. So now we have the appinfo.json set up with the app key. We have our JavaScript ready. Hopefully the syntax is all right. I'm pretty sure I got it right. We have our inbox registered on the main app on init, and we have it opening, so that should be good to go. So on case 0, let's just app log with the level info, and we're just going to say we got a hello message. Alright. So now we are going to build this. Alright, we got it all right. And now we are going to install. I'm going to make sure I have slots on my Pebble. No, I don't. Okay. So now I'm just installing with the logs option, and there you go. You can see there, we've got all of our logs. So if you're on Cloud Pebble, you can see this through the logging section. So what's up? This is JavaScript speaking. This is the ready message, and then it sends over a message. The main C says, hey, we got key 0 with a value of 1, and then here in our switch and process tuple, we just have an app log firing with the got hello message. And let's just pull up over here, new movie recording. So you can see on our phone it has opened an example domain page. So I'll show it to you. You can see our Suite app there, and tap Settings. There's our example page that we set up in the JavaScript. So now you might be thinking, how would we go about making this more optimal for weather, or adding some sort of other call so that we can use the JavaScript in some sort of other way than just sending cool messages? Because this is pretty cool, but we want to do something cooler with it. Oh, sorry. So what we're going to do is, just when it hits the JavaScript, we're going to take a local storage count, and every time the local storage count is bumped up, then we're going to print it out. So I just want to show you some storage capabilities on the JavaScript. So local storage is a really great storage method on JavaScript. You should look into it. If you don't know what it is, just Google local storage JavaScript. You'll be able to find tons of information for it. Basically, what you'll need to know is there's local storage.set item, and you set it to a key. So we're just going to call this hello key, and we're going to set the item to a new value, which we're going to define in a second. Sorry. Okay. So and then there's local storage get item for returning a value. So basically, we're going to grab this variable called value, and it's equal to local storage dot set or get item from key hello key. And don't forget, this is kept sandboxed, so your app can't touch another app. I can't type in drunk o'clock settings in a different app and access the drunk o'clock settings. It's all separate from each other, so you're safe. And yeah, so here we're grabbing our value. If it doesn't exist, I believe it'll just return 0, and we're going to say value plus plus, and then here on our hello key we're just going to set the value, and then here we're going to console.log it. We're going to say value is now plus value, and hopefully that works. So let's just see. We're going to build this up again and install this. There's the value of 1. We're going to close my app again, or our app, and we're going to open it again. Value of 2. There you go. So now it's value of 3, value of 4, and on and on and on, as much as I want. So it's that easy, guys. There's not a lot to it. So now let's send a message from the Pebble. So let's send a message when it gets a case 1. Alright, so I just quickly copied and pasted in a quick bit of code that sends off an integer to the JavaScript. I'll explain how this works now. I'm not just going to leave you in the dark here. So we have our dictionary iterator called iter, and we pass this into app message outbox begin. So this starts the outbox, so starts sending. Well, it prepares for a send, basically. You pass in your iterator. It makes sure it's not null, so make sure that you're not going to be passing in a null pointer, and then you've got crashes and it's just a whole mess. And if it is, it returns. If you want, you can put an app log here, and you could say app log level error, and you could say iter's null returning. So then there we go. And here it's very, very simple. We have a dict write int 8, uint 8. So it's writing an unsigned integer, 8-bit value. So it's that simple. This is your key. So your iterator, your key, your value. So we want to pass in a value of 1. And we want to send a value of, let's just call rand here. That's always fun, right? And we'll make it rand with a cap of 9. So that's it. And then you end writing to the dictionary, and then you send it, and that's it. So I believe you can have multiple outboxes ready at once, like multiple iterators in the outbox, and then just hit @message outbox send. It'll write any ones that are finished writing, and you need to make sure that you're calling dict write end after any other writes you're doing. So there's lots of other there's like tuples and there's ints and strings and everything, but for the sake of simplicity right now, we're just sticking with integers, simple integers. So here we are, and we're going to save this. So on send 1. So now we're just going to switch this message to test post. And so it's always going to send this. And then on that back, so when it gets an message, we're going to say switch e.payload.test post. So we're going to check for the test post key. And if it says 1 in the test post, so wait. Let's actually put a cap of 3 on here. So that's just 0, 1, and 2. So 0, case 1, break, case 2, break, and on each one we're going to say something different. Alright, so that should all work in theory. And we'll just save this, Pebble build. Oh yes. You need to make sure you have a little semicolon here after your case statement, otherwise it'll just give you some sort of weird compilation error. I never really understood why that happens. I'm gonna install this. There you go, second the best. We're going to close this. Oh, it'll always be second. No, we have our random set up, right? So, wait. I activated the wrong app. So here, we'll open our app. Second the best, we got second the best again, eh? Second the best. You can still see the values bumping up though, that's good. Yeah, I believe we have, we have sran being called, I'm not sure. I guess it just really likes being second this time. So yeah, that is your 12th Pebble development tutorial. And I have shown you today how to get messages from JavaScript, how to send messages to the JavaScript, how to use basic JavaScript functions, show the configuration screen, set up your appinfo.json. There's a ton of stuff to go over, and again, I recommend you go to the developer documentation on developer.getpebble.com if you're confused about anything or if I didn't explain anything well, which is definitely possible. And there's lots of really well laid out documentation there. So if I didn't, if you didn't get what I was saying, just go there, read up a little, and I'm sure you'll get it. All right, so that's all I have for you guys right now, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.